Hello and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. This week I am pleased to present to you the Funky Junkie Inspiration Avenue Saturday Showcase. So for this Saturday Showcase, I'm going to be showcasing the new Tim Holtz Christmas Idea-Ology line. I love Idea-Ology, and if you've been here a while, you will see that every season I'm usually featuring something with Idea-Ology. So today I'm going to be creating a peppermint gingerbread themed vignette. If you'd like to see which supplies I'm going to be using for part 1 of 3 videos, go ahead and pause here. As always, there will be written description down in the description box, linked over at the Funky Junkie Inspiration Avenue blog. So, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. All right, let's get started with our first Idea-Ology alteration. So the first thing that we will be altering today are some confections. These are absolutely fantastic, but let's make these a little bit more interesting. So these are super cute as they are, but we're going to be adding some glitter to these. So I'm going to pull out a few of these. We're going to use a few of the longer sticks as well. And if I dig to the very bottom of this container, I will also be pulling out some of the candy canes. These are new this year and they are absolutely fantastic, and they're going to look even more spectacular after we add a bit of glitter to them. So let's go ahead and pull some of these out. I think I want a total of 8 for this project. Let's see here, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more. There we go, we've got 8. And we need 4 of the long ones, and I would like to do 8 of these mini ones. Okay. There we go, and we'll just set the rest of these aside. And let's go ahead and start altering these. To alter these, we're first going to be coating all of our pieces with some Distress Collage Medium. Since this is a new container, I'm going to be opening that up and putting a little bit of this off to the side on the craft media mat. Okay. So for the next part, we're going to be spreading the collage medium all over our pieces. Now, you could do this with your fingers, or if you don't like the feel of the glue, you could put on some gloves, or you can even try painting this on with a paintbrush. I don't particularly mind the feel of the glue, but I will be using the Tim Holtz squeezers to help me transfer these pieces into the glitter. And I also will have a piece of scrap paper off to the side to lay these down on to dry. So let's go ahead and coat our first pieces. I'm going to start with the long skinny pieces. We're just going to smear a little bit of the collage medium on here, and then we're going to be dunking that right into the glitter. So just taking the squeezers, holding this at the end. Now we just dunk it right into the container. Okay, ooh, that is already super, super sparkly. That looks fantastic. Now I'm just going to grab my sheet of paper so I can set these off to the side to dry. Okay, I'm going to put that here. Let's go ahead and sparkle a candy cane, and then I'll put the rest of this on fast forward while we get the other pieces nice and sparkly. So again, just taking a little bit of collage medium, rubbing that all on my fingers. There. And then we'll take the squeezers to hang on to this while we dip it into the sparkly Clear Rock Candy Distress Glitter. Okay. This is a bit of a longer piece, so I have to go in at an angle. There we go. Just shake that off, give it a little tap, and we set it off to the side to dry. So we're just going to go ahead and repeat this process with the rest of our pieces, and soon we will have all sorts of sparkly confections. Let's go ahead and put this part on fast forward. Okay, let's take a closer look at these sparkling confections. That is looking extra sparkly. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set these aside to dry, and now we're going to be making some icy, sparkly snowballs. And to do that, we will be bringing in a disposable cup, and of course, we're going to need some bubbles. So we're going to go ahead and start smooshing a bit of collage medium on these and then just drop them into the container. I'm just going to grab an assortment of these, and I'm going to aim for maybe 10 to 12 snowballs. I'm using the smallish and medium-sized ones since I want these to stay relatively within proportion to the village house that we are going to be altering. I decided to use collage medium because I do not want these to be sparkling clear. I want these to be kind of icy and frosty. So the collage medium is going to be giving us the best effect. All right, let's see here. We have got 8. Let's go for 4 more to make 12. All right. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, and 1 more to bring us to 12. Okay, that is good. Now I'm just going to quickly clean my fingers off. I've got a rag off to the side, and we're going to add a little bit of the Distressed Clear Rock candy. So I'm just going to sprinkle that right into the cup. And now we're just going to pick this up and we're going to give it a bit of a shake, kind of swirl these around. And there we go. We have got sparkly snowballs. So again, I will set these off to the side to dry, and we'll come back and take a look at these later in the video. So, quick tips and alterations. Next, we are going to be making a snowman. And to do that, we are going to be using some of the Tim Holtz Idea-Ology Holiday Baubles. So I'm going to be wanting a bauble about this size and like that. I'm just going to use 2. This is going to be a mini snowman, and it's going to be close to proportion to a paper village dwelling that we are going to be creating in part 2 of our video. So to put these together, I'm going to be using a little dash of hot glue. I'm going to just grab the hot glue gun, and we'll put a little bit of hot glue right here. That looks good. Set that down for a moment, and then we're going to stack our second bauble. Just like that. Okay, and I'm going to let this sit a moment. While that is setting up, I'm just going to set that right here. We'll set that aside, and now I'm going to be making a little mini hat for our snowman. To make the hat for the snowman, I'm pulling in a scrap of Idea-Ology craft stock, and we're going to be adding 2 little circles, and I'm doing that with a couple of mini punches. So we're just going to take this, punch out a circle, and this one is measuring at about 3/8. Next, we're going to be cutting a second circle, and this one will be coming in at about just a little over 1/2 inch. So these are the first 2 parts that we need for the hat. And I'm kind of thinking right now that I want to punch another one of these. I think this one is going to be too small. So let's try 2 of these. Okay, I can always trim that down later. And next, we're going to take our paper and we're going to roll that so that we are making a tube. And this tube I will be cutting in half. But first, let's go ahead, trim off the extra. And I'm going to use a dash of hot glue to put that together. So pulling back in the hot glue gun, I'm just going to run a little line of glue along here. There we go. Just a little bit, and we will roll this back up. Excellent. And I'm just going to hold that for a moment or two while that glue sets. Very good. Then I'm just going to check our snowman. Oh, that is going to be perfect. Okay. And now we're just going to trim off the extra bit. And let me check these circles. Oh, that top piece is actually going to fit perfectly. Great. I thought that was going to be way too small, but okay. So I'm just going to add a bit of glue kind of around the inside of this little tube and on the lip. And that's going to catch that little circle. So just putting that circle face down, taking this piece to scoop it up. Perfect. Now we've got the top of the hat. Now for the bottom part. So I'll just flip this over. And we're going to add some glue around what's going to become the base. Just kind of around the lip and inside of the edge. That looks good. And we'll take that and we'll put that down on top of our other circle. There we go. And now we've got this super cute little top hat for our snowman. All right, let's bring our snowman back in. Now I want to add just a little bit of glitter to him. That is going to look super cute. So I'm just going to dab on a bit of glitter with some collage medium. I don't want to really cover all of the snowman in glitter, but, oh, slippery. I just want to cover part of it. So that should be pretty good. We'll just get our glitter. We'll dunk this in, pull it out. Give that a quick little roll. There. So we're not going for total glitter coverage, just a little bit. Very good. Set that there. Put the glitter aside. And now let's attach that hat to the top of our snowman. So we'll just put some glue here on the base of the hat. Pick up the snowman. Let's see here. This side is good. And add the hat. Oh my word, that is so darn cute. Now we need to add a few features for our snowman. I've got a little bit of distressed black soot paint off to the side, and we're going to paint on a couple of features for our snowman. So I'm just taking the fine detailer water brush, and I'm going to paint on a little face. So let's see how that goes. An eye here, an eye there. We'll give him a little nose and a smile. All right. That is working out very nicely. Might make the eyes just a little bit bigger. Yeah. Just like that. Perfect. Now for finishing touches. He needs a scarf. So I'm pulling in an old Idea-Ology SKU. I absolutely love these trimming pieces. So we're just going to take some of this and we're going to snip just about there. Now I'm going to be taking a die pick, and at the ends of this trim we're just kind of going to pick it apart just like that to make the trim end of a scarf. There. Just like that. Now our snowman is going to have a nice scarf to wear. So to attach this, I'm going to be adding some hot glue around the two joints of the snowman. Just going to take a little bead of glue and go all the way around. And now we just add that scarf, just twist that around and Let's see. That is a little big, but I can probably scoot that down. Oh, there we go. Not bad. And I think I will snip off part of this end. I can always add the little tassel bits back in after. Okay, like that. And we'll add the little tassel bits back. Just taking the die pick and pulling apart that end fringe. Good. And we have our little snowman. Too darn cute. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set them aside and move on to our next alteration. For our next alteration, we are going to be altering a Bottlebrush tree. So I'm going to be working with one of these smaller trees, and we're going to be altering it with some Distress Mica Spray Stain Tree Lot. And since I would like to have a bit of a winter theme going, we're going to be adding some Distress Mica Flakes over the top. So first, I need to bring in the splat box. This is going to help keep our work surface nice and clean. And we're just going to put the tree right here. I'm going to give it a quick spritz with just a little bit of water. And now with the Distress Mica Spray Stain, as we know, there is sediment in the bottom where all that sparkly goodness is, and we need to give the bottle a good shake to make sure everything is all mixed up and ready to spritz. All right, sediment is moved, time to spritz. So, just a couple of quick sprays and our tree is looking good. I will be back in just a moment after I give this a quick dry with the Ranger Heat Tool. Now that our tree is all nice and dry, it is time to add some collage medium and a bit of sparkle using some of the Distress Mica Flakes. So for adding the Mica Flakes, I'm just going to be dabbing on a bit of collage medium with my fingers. If you didn't want to use your fingers, you could tap the tree in the collage medium on your media mat, but I want to just quickly dab it on with my fingers. So just taking a bit on my finger, I'm just tapping that onto the bristly parts of the tree. And as you can see, it's starting to add some glue onto the Bottlebrush section. Okay. See, I want a little bit more mica around the base, so I want to add a bit more collage medium. And a little bit more over here. Good. All right, now we're just going to open up the Mica Flakes, and I'm going to take a little handful of Mica Flakes and just sprinkle those onto the tree. There we go. A little bit more here. Rotate it. That looks good. Okay, so now I'm just going to tap off the extra. Ooh, that is really, really sparkly. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. I really like that, and I'm kind of going for a sugar-coated look, and this is definitely looking kind of candy-like, so we're just going to run with that. All right, so this would be our completed tree with the Mica Flakes on top. We'll set this aside and let it dry. Another quick and easy alteration. So we're just going to quickly scoop the Mica Flakes back into the jar and onto the next alteration. For our next alteration, we're going to be using a bit of foundry wax. I'm going to be pulling in some Gilded today and a few pieces of Tim Holtz Idea-Ology Ephemera. There are so many fantastic ways to alter ephemera, and one of those ways is to edge those pieces with a bit of gold. So we're going to give our foundry wax a good shake. All right, and I'm going to put some off to the side. Let's see, we can put some right here. Just going to add a few drops onto the mat. There, that's good. And I'm just going to grab a paintbrush to paint it onto the edges of our ephemera pieces. So just dabbing with the brush. As you can see, it's already getting a little bit more solidified. So we need to work relatively quickly to make sure we add the foundry wax before it starts to really gel. Okay. So I'm just adding a little bit of a border to these pieces with the Gilded Foundry Wax, and then we will melt the pieces with the embossing gun. Okay. I like how it's super easy to add a little bit of shine to our Idea-Ology Ephemera pieces, and this can make the visual interest so much more. Looks like you're going to need just a little bit more foundry wax, so I'll go ahead, add a few more drops. That's good. One thing I've noticed is that each of these has their own unique viscosity, and in my experience, the gilded has the tendency to solidify sooner than the others. But that is okay. We can always work quickly to apply the foundry wax, and the look is positively worth it. All right, now for the big one, just adding that on, quickly brushing it on the sides. That's good. Oh, it's a little bit more than I wanted there. Let's see if we can move some of that. Good. So just rotating this as we add the foundry wax. Guess we need just a bit more. All right. A little bit more here. Grab the paintbrush and working quickly before this gets chunky. All right. Almost there. Last little bit. Okay. Hey, let's take a closer look at these altered pieces. Look at the shine on that. That looks great. So, quick, easy way to alter some Idea-Ology ephemera by adding a touch of Distress Foundry Wax. That really does shine like liquid gold. Okay, now that we've made things shiny, let's now make things frosted. So, to do that, we are bringing in embossing powder, Frosted Crystal by Ranger. And again, I've got a few pieces here that we're going to add a bit of frost to. I've got some scrap paper here off to the side to catch the frosted crystal. Now, we're just going to go in with a bit of Distress embossing ink with the embossing dabber. And then we'll get these pieces all frosty. So, I'm just going to be scribbling this down onto the ephemera. Just taking the dabber, pushing down a bit, and just kind of scrubbing it over the piece. Now, to see if you've got the ink on here, we just pick this up and tilt it, and as you can see, we've got a good shine. Oh, looks like we missed a little corner here. If you look close right there, you'll see there is no shine right there, and that means that we did not get that one corner. So we just go back and add a little bit more. Double check, make sure the shine is there, and good. So now we'll do the next piece. We've got a lovely piece of holly. Can get the dabber and the ink on that. Okay, hold it up, check if we've got shine. Yep, we do, for the most part. Whoa, bottom corner needs a little bit more. That's okay. There we go, that goes there. And now we've got this. Very good. And we'll just scribble that on. Hold it up. Okay, that is good. Now we're just going to take our scrap paper, put that down, put our pieces over it, And I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle on some frosted crystal. So that I don't smudge these pieces with my fingers, I will be going in with the squeezers afterwards so that we can emboss these. Alright, just sprinkling on a generous amount. We can always tip the extra back into the jar. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead, using the squeezers, we'll just shake that off, set that to the side, go in for the next piece. There, tilt, move that one, and the last one. Okay. And as always, I like to tilt the extra bits back into the jar. So, jar, extra powder. There we go. And now I can just set the powder aside and go ahead and start embossing. I'll go ahead and put that part on fast forward. Now, one of the neat things about the frosted crystal is that you can actually overcook this. If you leave the heat too long in one spot, it can actually cook the crystal and take away this really neat icy finish. So if you might have noticed, I was continually moving the heat gun all over the piece, not holding it in one spot too long in order to maintain this beautiful frosted look. That is so pretty. I absolutely love the effect that frosted crystal gives us, and this makes me think of crystallized sugar. Okay, so next up we're going to be altering a few etc. pieces. These are going to become part of the base for our creative make, and we're going to be putting these together with a little bit of hot glue, and then we will be altering the top. So let's go ahead. We're going to bring in the hot glue. I'm just going to run a line of glue down this piece of etc. trim. All right, so we're just running a thin glue line down the edge of this, just like that. And next, we're going to match these up and put them together. Just going to use the table to keep things nice and flat and squeeze. Okay, that is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and add the next piece. So I'm going to be adding the hot glue over the little jaggedy bits here. Just going to run another line of glue down. Just like that. And we're going to stick these together. Okay, and flat on the table to make sure everything is lining up nicely. Good. So this is going to be our platform for the curio clock. Next, we're going to be altering this. And to do so, we are going to need some distressed picket fence. I'm going to give that a good shake. And put that on here. Grab a paintbrush and paint it on. Okay. Just need to give that a quick coat of white. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be adding some of the sparkly Snowfall texture paste over the top. Okay, that is good. Let's get the other side. Excellent. And I do want to purposely leave the edges that darker brown. All right. So, be back in a second after I give this a quick blast with the Ranger Heat tool, and then we will add some Snowfall. Okay, let's go in with some Snowfall. I've got a little bit left in this jar, so let's go ahead and use that up. Just take that, scrape it out. Okay, I'll probably need more, and I have a brand new jar off to the side that I can use as well. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to need to open that second jar. That's okay, that's why I've got it. So I'm just going to be smearing this across the platform, and I'm using one of the Tim Holtz Ranger palette knives. There. I love that snowy look. That is just so fun. All right, we're going to need that second jar, so let's go ahead and open this. Okay, there we go. We've got more Snowfall. Just quickly give that inside of the cap a little scrape. Make sure that we get all that beautiful snowy goodness. And we'll just add that on. Okay. Very good. So just turn the platform and add some more over here. Good. A little bit more. There we go. Ooh, that is looking nice and snowy. Okay, we're going to set this aside and let it dry. So much goodness here. Okay, and we'll just quickly put a cap on this and set that off to the side as well. So next we have got one last alteration to create, and that will conclude part 1 of the Funky Junkie Inspiration Avenue Saturday Showcase, part 1. So next we're going to be altering some of the Deco paper. This stuff is super sparkly and I absolutely love it, and I need some peppermint stripes. So I am pulling in the mini stencil THMS 095. So first we need to get our piece of Deco paper and place it onto a substrate. I'm going to be placing this on some of the craft stock paper. We'll just peel that off and line it up and place it down. So I've got the edge of this peeled up, and we're just going to line this up. I didn't peel all of it off because I might need to rearrange my positioning. I'm not always lining things up quite right on the first time, but this looks pretty good. So just peel the rest of that backing off, smooth it down, and I'm going to have a little bit of hangover, but that is not a problem. We can just snip that off and I can save that piece for later. So just trimming that off, that looks good, and we'll set that aside. Okay, now we are going to be altering this with some peppermint stripes, and to do that I am pulling in some of the new Lumberjack Distress Paint Plaid. This is a fantastic Christmassy red, so we're going to also be bringing in a mini blending tool. I have a small blending foam on here. We're going to turn our paper sideways and we will start adding some stripes. Okay, so I will put a little bit of the paint right over here. And I'm just going to be dabbing the paint on in between sections. It looks like I'll have to do about 3. I'll be drying this off with the Ranger heat tool. So I'm just going to pick up some paint with the foam. There, and we're just going to dab that on through the stencil. So I'm going to hold that there, and we're going to start dabbing. So I'm using a little bit of a sideways motion here to get the paint on. There we go. Ooh, I'm going to be loving this as soon as we have that completed, I think. Okay, a little bit more here. I might have to do another one of these and turn this into a background for a card. Ooh, I am getting all sorts of good ideas. Okay, a little bit more on the edges. All right, let's see. Ooh, I like it. That worked out really, really well. So we're just going to quickly dry that off, make sure everything is set. Good. Now I'm going to just slide the stencil over and continue that stripy pattern. Let's see here. I want to make sure that we're lined up. This is in theory a repeating pattern, so I should be able to just slide it and line it up. There we go. Just want to move that over here. Excellent. All right. Looks like I'll need a few more drops of paint, and we will continue the pattern. I think one more repetition and we will have plenty of stripes. Okay, we'll just dab that on. Yeah, you can even see the sparkle through the paint, which is pretty cool. That I did not expect. I thought I was going to be getting kind of an opaque stripe and then sparkly bits in between, but the paint is slightly translucent, so we're getting some of the sparkle even through the paint. That is pretty neat. Okay, let's see. Ooh, not bad. Just gonna wipe off the little bits in the back so I don't spread that to the next slide. I think I'm going to be okay without drawing in between. And place that here, I think. Yep, right there. And tilt just a little bit. And we'll continue that stripe to finish it off. There we go. Okay, let's see. Yes. We have got a very nice peppermint stripe. So I'm just going to quickly dry this off. Yeah. Ooh, I like this a lot. Yep, definitely doing an entire card back like this as well. That is just too cool. Okay. Setting that down. I'm just going to smooth this out. I noticed that we got just a little bit wrinkly. That's okay. That's easy enough to make smooth. Good. Okay. And there is our peppermint candy cane stripe. That is too cool. And we can see all the sparkle through this. All right. So this would conclude part 1 of our Tim Holtz Idea-Ology alterations. We have made sparkly candy cane striped deco paper. We have altered some confections for super sparkly candies. We made a little Bottlebrush tree and altered it with some spray stained mica and some Mica Flakes. We also made this adorable little snowman here. We altered some ephemera using Distress Foundry Wax. We also used some frosted crystal on these other paper pieces. We have got some super sparkly and fun snowballs over here. And we also altered some etc. pieces to create this snowy base that will be used in the next part of the project. So for now, we are going to stop here, and I thank you for joining me here today for part 1 of the Funky Junkie Saturday Showcase at the Funky Junkie Inspiration Avenue blog. If you would like a full written description, check out the blog for all of the details and more pictures. All right, until next time, happy crafting.